What's goody, everyone? Well, since I eviscerated Krusty the Clown and sent him to the hellish dimension from whence he came, I say it's time to introduce a new series on this channel, the Top 10 Lists. One of the things I naturally like to do is to rank things, list things, or simply distinguish what I think is better between comparable movies, games, and even episodes of TV shows. Anything, really. I think it's only right for the first list I do on this channel to pertain to the missions in the Simpsons Hit Run. While I have already reviewed the game itself, which you should go check out if you haven't already, link is in the description below, I didn't really get to talk about many of the missions in great detail, so I thought it would be fun to look at my top 10 favorite missions in the game just to illustrate how well put together each one is. From the music, lines of dialogue, story impact, you get the picture. Well, it's time to look at my top 10 favorite missions in the Simpsons Hit and Run. Number 10. Office Spaced. This is the first mission of the game to be completed by destroying a vehicle, and who better to destroy than Homer's boss's suck-up, Mr. Smithers. So Marge tells Homer he's late for work and that he has an evaluation with Mr. Smithers. In order to save his pet scorpions...
You'll find my scorpion farm! Then where will my scorpions live?
Homer decides to borrow Barney's Plow King in order to destroy Smithers' car and make it to work on time. This mission, while being fairly easy, is one of the greatest examples of where this game excels. Nothing feels better than getting a large, imposing vehicle and crashing it into an annoying character. Thankfully, since Smithers' car is on the tough side, it leads to many euphoric crashes necessary to completely total it. While the Plow King isn't the most fun car to control, it still helps get the job done, and once the mission is completed, we get a funny exchange between Homer and Smithers.
My convertible! I just waxed and undercoated.
That's what you get for expecting me to do the job for which I am paid.
This is all you can really ask for in a mission in this game. Fun mission, fun premise, fun dialogue, satisfying conclusion, and mass destruction.
Take what you want, sexy leprechaun. Just don't shoot me with that dart gun. Oh, whatever.
Number 9. Weapons of Mass Delinquency. This is the second mission you play as Bart, where in an attempt to stay with the trends in Springfield,
better make it snappy though if you want to be part of this trend,
Bart decides to go around town purchasing fireworks from various Springfield residents. I think what makes this mission work the most is the interactions you have with several of the Springfielders you come across. I think this one nails that classic Simpsons comedic timing better than most others. In fact, it features one of my favorite interactions in the game.
Sorry, Bart. I can't serve booze to a minor. It ain't right.
I'm here to buy fireworks.
Oh, hell yeah.
This mission is essentially a timed wild goose chase to get around downtown Springfield quick enough to get all the fireworks. Since it's Bart's second mission in this level, it also helps give you an understanding of the level's layout, which I find very helpful. The mission comes to a climax when you collect your last bit of fireworks in front of Chief Wiggum, who promptly gives chase. Lose him, and it's a big fat mission complete for you. But if you fail...
My daddy's going to put you in jail. Bye!
Number 8. Rigger Motors. If you've started to notice a trend with the first few missions on this list, it's that they all involve fun interactions with several different Springfield residents. Rigger Motors is no different. After the aliens wake the dead with the Buzz Cola, zombies are everywhere, and Homer cannot ignore them much longer.
Not now, Lisa. I'm trying to listen to the baseball game.
It's the top of the 7th, and oh God, zombies! They're devouring the crowd. Now they're eating my brain. Oh, the pain! Ah!
Homer goes out to borrow some supplies from his many friends around the horror-themed neighborhood. There's really not much more to it than that. He goes next door to Ned Flanders, steals something from Cletus's yard, and bargains for a chainsaw with Moe. The explanation Homer gives trying to justify his reasoning for taking these items is outright hilarious, especially in the case of Moe.
Then how will I defend myself?
Mo. Shouldn't the weapons go to save people who have loved ones?
Plus, this mission is a fun challenge. While the map has been reworked a bit, you should still know enough of it to make it around at a quick pace. So the timer is set to a very short amount for you to whip it around. It sets the tone for this final level pretty well, as there are a lot of time limits that will certainly influence you into cutting some missions very close. Well, if you passed all the missions and street races up to this point, you should be able to ace this, but not so easily, which I like.
Daddy, if the zombies are dead, why aren't they in heaven?
I hope my brain feeds feeds a poor hungry zombie.
Number 7. The Cola Wars. This is the second to last mission you play as Marge in the game. After freeing Bart from his mind-altered trance, Marge learns that Buzz Cola is being used to make the town go crazy. In order to combat the evil cola bottlers and distributors, Marge has to go around town collecting all the cans she sees. But Marge doesn't seem up to the task herself. She needs a little help.
I need a little extra firepower as Officer Marge.
Yes, just dressing up like a police officer is enough to give you a sense of power. There's a joke about society in there somewhere, but I'm not going to make it. So yes, you have to wear the cop uniform for this mission. Personally, I like the outfit, and would have purchased it anyways for 100% sake, but I can see others not like being forced into buying an item for only a cosmetic change, especially because Marge has to do it twice. Aside from that though, I consider this a particularly Aside from that though, I consider this a particularly Aside from that though, I consider this a particularly special mission because it's one of the only missions in the game that is meant to be done entirely on foot. You got it. Sure, that might not be your cup of tea, but I really like a lot of the areas in this game that can really only be accessed on foot.
Just let me catch my breath.
And aside from maybe at the end of some missions or searching for collectibles, you don't need to leave your car and walk around for anything. This is one of the very few missions to change things up, and I'm here for it. There is a mission we'll talk about later that combines walking and driving more successfully, leaving a somewhat better experience overall. Yet still, this is a fun mission, and I think we should have had more missions like it.
Later, I'm going to the arcade.
Number 6. Kang and Kodo strike back. After painstakingly destroying all the laser gun stands and making it back in one piece, Bart meets up with Homer and informs him of the plot. Because he literally has been on the sidelines since the end of level 1. Yeah, Homer has really no idea what's going on, but whatever. It's finally time for father and son to team up, and I can dig that. Homer whips out his old sports car that he was supposed to sell in order to pay for Bart's college tuition.
It was a lie.
Yay, tough luck, Swarthmore.
With the badass sports car in tow, Homer and Bart race the chase sedan to the Duff Brewery before the aliens can escape. It's a simple yet challenging race featuring two of the fastest cars in the game. It also features a unique music track that sounds like a disco version of the Simpsons main theme. It really gives it that cool car chase vibe. It's a fun bop to listen to while you have Homer and Bart both making quips together in the car, and after an entire game without Homer, you put him and Bart together, and it's just magic.
Don't have a cow, man.
Learn to drive, you dumbass.
In the end, you're rewarded with a cool, ominous cutscene that leads directly into the next level, one that I used to watch over and over again as a kid. Just an all-around great mission here.
Oh man, that sounds cool! I mean, oh no, I hope their plan fails. Who am I kidding? Zombies eating brains? Oh, this is gonna rock!
Number 5. Slithery Sleuthing. Here we have a pretty decent mission carried by the quotables from the mission itself. Granted, the following and collecting aspect of this mission is fun on its own. It's really the interactions that make it great. So Lisa needs the help of everyone's favorite cop, Chief Wiggum, to find Bart. Wiggum is busy trying to find evidence to put Snake back in jail. It's our job to help the Chief find the evidence by following Snake around until we can rack up 3 new strikes against him.
How many strikes do you have so far?
No strikes. But that's only because I'm a very, very bad cop.
As I said, it's a simple follow and collect mission, only needing to get 3 items, though the challenge here is keeping up the pace with Snake and not letting him get away. He's a slippery fucker, and he drives a pretty sweet ride, so keeping up with him is key. If you manage to pick up each strike, you are treated to some of my favorite lines in the entire game.
Strike 2, running over an elderly person without a license.
Hold on a second, is that Hans Mole Man? Huh, I never noticed that. Just another level of hilarity to this mission.
All I know is pain.
The one drawback to this mission is, again, we are forced to buy an outfit in order to go, quote, undercover. However, this mission has the distinction of being the first to do so, and the outfit itself is a nice callback to a Simpsons episode, so it's cool. Yet, in this mission, Wiggum gives it to us and says,
well, here's one of Ralph's old Halloween costumes.
I know it's just a video game, but look. Marge referenced that she had been Officer Marge before in her mission, so why does this outfit not have its natural origin? I know it's a nitpick, but whatever. Just say a funny line.
Thanks, Chief. You are a good cop after all.
You're just saying that.
Yes, I am.
Number 4. Petty Theft Homer. I talked about this one in my review of the game, but I only scratched the surface of this hilarious mission. So to explain more, Marge tells Homer that Ned Flanders seems miffed.
And PO'd.
Homer goes over to see what's up, and Flanders tells him that a bunch of his possessions have gone missing. While Flanders is talking, Homer's inner monologue takes over, informing us, the player, that he's responsible for all of the missing items. It's our job as Homer to go collect each item and bring them back to Flanders before the time is up. Again, what really makes this mission so great is the dialogue, of course. Not just the start of the mission, but Homer driving on his own, his deciphering of where each item must be, not to mention his conversation with Barney.
You remember that cooler I gave you for your birthday? Well, Flanders wants it back. Now what will I use for a toilet?
It also bears repeating, why did Homer borrow some of these things? As the mission progresses, the items go from somewhat normal things to borrow, like a cooler and a lawnmower, to a family portrait and a child's inhaler by the end of it. Like, what would he need all of that for? I mean, the inhaler might get some practical use for sure, but why the family portrait? I mean, think about this too. This game was released 3 years after the death of Maude Flanders in the show, so misplacing this portrait is fucked up in a deeper level, as it includes a photo of Ned and the boys with their deceased wife and mother. Yeah, it's actually pretty fucked up when you think about it, but thankfully we're talking about Ned Flanders. He's forgiven Homer for way worse in the past, having the heart and his faith to overlook Homer's selfishness and neglect. I think this mission perfectly translates their relationship into the game, right down to its iconic closing dialogue.
Here's your reward, a prayer from the Lord's #1 fan. Our Father in heaven, bless this noble oath.
Stupid Flanders getting happiness from religion.
Number 3. Monkey See, Monkey. We saw a similar mission earlier on in this countdown, but this is the one that I think edges it out just by a little bit. So Professor Frink tells Bart that in order to complete his Truckosaurus, he needs a blender. For some reason, Bart immediately thinks he knows exactly who might have one, and oh boy, look who it is! Hi, Dr. Nick!
Hi, everybody.
In order for Dr. Nick to give you his blender, you need to help him gather up all his lost monkeys. There's actually an established reason for how the monkeys escape too in the level. Earlier on, if you go out of your way to go to Dr. Nick's office, you'll notice a small crate shaking. You'd think it's some kind of collectible or something, so you break it, and lo and behold, the monkeys break out of there. And thus, you gotta get those suckers back because...
I'll be so grateful.
The monkeys are scattered around over the area of downtown Springfield you start in for this mission. It's up to Bart to drive around and pick them all up before the time runs out. Not only do you drive to get the monkeys, but like the Cola Wars mission, you must actually get out of your car to get some of them as well. I think more missions should have combined the platforming aspect of the game with the driving like this one did, but that's what helps make this one stand out. Another reason it may stand out is that this mission is one that also forces you to make a vehicle purchase. It's not the best stats-wise, but the fan favorite Mr. Plow is exactly what we need, and in order to buy it, we get to have a fun conversation with Homer.
I need your truck, Homer.
Why should I give you that?
Because I love you.
Pay up, sucker.
So even though that interaction is technically not part of this mission, this is the mission that makes that interaction mandatory, so I'll just include it as part of why I think this one is so cool. The music also is exactly the kind of song you'd hear in this scenario. They perfectly nailed the atmosphere with this track. It doesn't work nearly as well for Marge's similar mission, but for this one it's right on the money. The mission itself is fun for all those reasons already stated, and isn't really all that hard either. You don't have a huge area to work with, and you score numerous monkeys on foot without even needing your car. For that, it is one of my favorites. And come on, it features Dr. Nick. Like seriously, on that alone it deserves its spot on this list.
Welcome home, Daddy's little angels. Now, to put electrodes in your brains.
Number 2. Dial B for Blood. This is the only bonus mission that was good enough to make this list in my opinion, and it was so good that it made it to number 2, so let's talk about it. If you feel the need to during your game, you could visit Grandpa in Bart's first level in order to get this bonus vehicle.
I need your car from the war.
The war? What, is the Kaiser at it again? I'll teach him. He stole my best girl and my best box of saltwater taffy.
Gonna be straight up here, folks. This mission probably has the best quotes in the entire game. I mean, the dialogue here is just classic Simpsons comedy. This mission goes to show that they were able to perfectly translate the comedy from the show into the game. The timing is like peak Simpsons writing. It's one of the main missions that really feels like you're going through an absurd episode B story, with Bart struggling to get any kind of blood to help Grandpa. And I mean any kind of blood.
Mo, do you have any any human blood?
Nah, what about goat blood?
Sure, why not?
In order to get said blood, you need to travel through the level visiting various locations and talking to whoever's got the hookup within the time limit. It's honestly a pretty standard mission, but at this point in the game, it provides enough of a challenge to be fun and not frustrating. Sure, the time limits are pretty short, especially if you decide to do this mission early on before you've had the chance to familiarize yourself with the level layout. But if you do manage to beat this early on, you get the first tough vehicle that has some speed to it, which will come in handy for later missions in the level.
Would you like fries with that?
So yeah, this is a good one all around. Good challenge, good reward, outstanding dialogue. What's not to love about Dial B for Blood?
Ooh, I'm gonna pour this on my flapjacks.
Alright, now before we get to number 1, I've got a few honorable mentions that I want to give a special mention to that just barely didn't make the cut. Sellouts is the final mission of level 2 and is one of the best destruction missions in the game. You get to crash into and destroy several frail little sedans within a somewhat generous time limit. If you did the bonus mission, you can use the World War II vehicle to really go nuts, and you'll get to hear Grandpa the whole time. Whee! Clueless is a mission so dumb, I had to include it somehow. It was the first mission to legitimately give me trouble because of how strict the last time limit is. But what really makes this mission is just how pathetic Milhouse is. Even when his best friend could be in incredible danger, he somehow rushes to each location before us on foot, all in hopes to win Lisa over with, well, whatever you call this line.
Perhaps you'd like to share some chewing gum.
Full Metal Jackass is the most obligatory mission in the game, and I fucking love it. For some reason, Bart talks to Principal Skinner for help after finding one of the aliens' laser guns. Not listening to Bart's explanation, he just takes the laser gun, and we have to now wreck his shit to get it back. This game couldn't have ended without a mission where Bart destroys Skinner in some form or fashion, so for that, this mission gets an honor.
All we've got to do, young man, is get that illicit goo gaw out of your hands. Clearly, you forgot the school's zero-tolerance policy on lasers.
And my number 1 favorite mission in the Simpsons Hit and Run is Alien Autopsy 3. Now I know what you might be thinking. Oh, J-Ruff, you're really picking the last mission? That's such a cop-out. It's the hardest mission in the game. It's such a pain in the ass. Yes, it is. But also shut up because...
That's my opinion!
Once you get to the playground in level 7, you realize the alien ship overhead, and your immediate goal then becomes how do we take it down? In order to do this, you must collect the waste from the power plant and make it safely to the school while making it through the gauntlet the game throws at you. Now this wouldn't be so bad, but for the only times that happens in this game, the item that you collect actually appears on your vehicle where it can be destroyed if it suffers a heavy crash. It certainly reinforces that if you haven't mastered driving without destroying your vehicle, you better start, because if your nuclear waste gets destroyed, you gotta go all the way back to the plant and start the journey over again. Now while this might seem annoying, I think it's really cool that you can keep the run going even if you mess up. And mess up you will, because each of these missions add another layer of difficulty to the last, by not only adding more threats, but by changing the starting points in the vehicles you use.
Shut up and get to the point!
Alright, so in this mission you take control of a special modified version of the World War II vehicle that you get from Grandpa, who
Bought it with my Social Security. Thank you, Uncle Sucker!
and this vehicle is fast, frantic, and it can thankfully take a beating. It can be a little unwieldy and definitely adds to the challenge of the mission, yet I feel like the fact that you can only use it here makes it feel more meaningful. Now in order to win this mission, you must race the alien car from the school to the power plant and collect the waste and travel back to the school in the time remaining, while also having to avoid the alien car's return. Not to mention the main obstacle of level 7, that being the dreaded Hit and Run. Since Hit and Run activates so quickly in this level, you're likely going to have to avoid the police hearses as well, that absolutely do not hold back and will destroy your nuclear waste faster than you can say,
I smell toad!
That being said, I really love how this mission puts several types of missions together, perfectly making you feel the finality of it. All of your hard work on those missions got you this far, and it's up to you to effectively make it through this one last gauntlet. And you've got Abe Simpson there with you through it, and any mission where you get to have Grandpa next to you is a great mission in my book.
Now you're not gonna sacrifice me for the greater good, are you, son? We'll see, Dad. We'll see.
And it might be difficult. In fact, it's one of the hardest finales to any game I've ever played, but it was a challenge that always kept me coming back more and more, getting closer and closer to winning. I'd rage, I'd yell, I'd throw a controller or two, but I'd always come back to it. And eventually, when I finally beat it, instant euphoria and immense feelings of accomplishment warmed my soul. There are a few moments in games that give you that same feeling, but this is definitely one of the big ones for me, and that's why Alien Autopsy 3 is my favorite mission in The Simpsons Hit and Run. Now that was my list on my favorite missions in the Simpsons Hit and Run. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below, and share your opinions on where you would have ranked all these missions. I'm so excited to keep making more content like this, so if you like this, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Plus, you can check out many of the numerous Let's Plays I already have featured on this channel. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Ruff. Take care, and peace.
My parole officer has ordered me to do some community service for the kids, so I developed a video game that'll keep those kids glued to their TVs so you can sit on your fat ass and drink some Buzz Cola. After all, how are you gonna watch your kids while you're suffering from massive diarrhea? These kids today are sick of jumping barrels, and they're more into jumping the curb with a fast car and dragging a fat man down the street. The kids dropped their Ataris and got into that Grand Theft Auto crap. So here's my game. It's the Simpsons Hit and Run. Now shut up and play it.
Yeah, it looks intriguing.